streaming. Okay, I'm just going to tweet this out. All right, we are now live. I'm just gonna I wonder how many people are up, but there's all this shit that happened today, so I wanted to give my thoughts about the subject. I'll give it a couple minutes for people to get here. I covered some of this on Nightshade, so if those of you who haven't watched it, go and see it. Hey guys, I figure I go to bed at 2 in the morning anyway. Might as well do these when things break. And a lot of shit happened today, and people predicted it. And I'll get into it once we get to 100 people. I think we'll get to that within a minute. So. We'll discuss. There's a lot of shit that happened today. And it's all bad, and people called it for weeks. So we're at 78. We'll get to it in a second. 200 people. Yeah. And by the way, it turns out there are other people out there who found the pink bubblegum ice vodka. It still exists. Apparently some West Coast outlets of Total Wine have it, so I'm very jealous that they were able to get it. I thought I had the last bottle, but I do not. So what I wanted to talk about is, first of all, there's a lot of breaking news that happened. Milo was scheduled to talk at NYU tomorrow. The mayor asked NYU not to do this, and they pulled it. This one is kind of, you can understand where they're coming from, because they said this is the security for Halloween is going to be a problem, so let's reschedule it. That one I could wrap my head around, maybe. But they haven't rescheduled him yet. That's number one. Number two is Laura Loomer. If you haven't watched, she was on Nightshade tonight. She called in. They suspended her from Twitter for a week, just in time for the election. And now that I'm talking, I'm remembering that back in the day, McCain-Feingold was a bill that had passed and was struck down as unconstitutional. That bill said it was illegal to basically criticize politicians within X amount of days of an election. It was this completely psychotic attack on political speech, which is supposedly the most important part of speech, which is not true. I talk about that in the forthcoming book. And they suspended her for exactly a week. And as she explained it, and please do watch that episode, they ban her for a week. They say, here's 4 examples of fucked up shit you did, fucked up tweets. And they go, actually, none of these tweets violate our terms of service, but you're still banned. And she gets into it at length on my show about how she pretty much single-handedly has changed the trajectory of the Minnesota Attorney General's race, where Keith Ellison was, on his march to power, gave up his House seat to run for that. It was a seat the Democrats have had for decades. And now he's in real trouble. Former Farrakhan ally. This guy's real insidious type. So, yeah. That happened. Then Gavin, there was a Daily Beast article that mentioned Gavin. They said that the Instagram is the new place for like Nazis or whatever. And they kicked Gavin off of Instagram. And in my supporting listeners group, for the Patreon people, someone was like, "Oh, he's still on Facebook." He got kicked off of Facebook too, and I checked, and he had not been kicked off of Facebook. He has now been kicked off of Facebook as well. And in the last few minutes, let me get this exactly right. Bear with me. They also kicked off the fan group for fans of his show, Get Off My Lawn, on CRTV, which I was just on that show, I think, literally 2 weeks ago. So next is what's going to happen. That article in the Daily Beast also mentioned Owen Benjamin, and they had an example of him posting a Jewish joke. If I'm not confusing with somebody else, I think Owen is a quarter Jewish. The knives are out for him. He's gonna. This is everyone said that they're gonna do this coordinated attack right before the election. Everyone was saying this for over a year, and that's exactly what is happening. And yeah, so I am worried for. Thank you, Mario. Gavin on CRTV is is toned down by the nature of the organization. Like when I'm on there, he's had to twice tell me not to curse because I wasn't realizing I was cursing. So that's how kind of normal they are. And his Instagram, exactly. And so they are, it's this kind of thing when they announced this policy, I think it was last year, where they said, oh, we're going to judge people for their offline actions as well. And the fact that this is happening in a coordinated manner, I mean, is it a conspiracy if it's done brazenly and publicly? I don't you know what I mean? What do you want to call it? So, yeah. And Gab, let's talk about Gab. Oh, let's talk about Gab as well. Let me add that to the title of this episode. Gab, as you guys all saw over the weekend, they got kicked off of all sorts of places. Now, Ian Miles Chong, who's Still Gray is his Twitter handle, great follow. He pointed out Gab was often accused of being like pro-Nazi, right? Oh, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. I'm allergic to discussing Nazis. It's my Jewish heritage. So Gab, they would often tweet out these anti-Semitic jokes. And the point Ian made is, look, if you're going to be accused of being a Nazi, maybe stop giving them ammo to call you a Nazi. So they kind of went back and forth on Twitter. That's an interesting thread to find. I'm sure one of you can find it if you go through Ian's page. But I've had Andrew Torba, who's the head of Gab, on Nightshade, I believe, last week, and I interviewed him about the situation there. So this is bad. I'm sure the next people that they have lined up are going to be Molyneux, Faith Goldie, and Lauren. I'm shocked that some of the alt-right people haven't been banned. Katie Hopkins, I'm also surprised that she's... I mean, it's funny who they leave on. The people that they leave on, I'm not even going to name some of them, are so much more pernicious than Gavin and Owen. So it's telling who they're... And Laura Loomer. You know what I mean? If you compare Laura Loomer to some of the real kind of Nazi types out there, it's very, very interesting who they are targeting. I think it's very intentional that they want to target people who have any semblance of mainstream credibility. They want to keep the Nazis around because then they could say, like, look how bad it is, there's Nazis around. So yeah, this is really, really it's interesting. I don't mention Spencer in my book at all in the New Right. And the editor wanted it and I said no. Hello. I already told you that I'd have him in the context of my book. Thank you for this super chat, but the book comes out in May. So yeah, it's by the way, we have, if you guys want, so that's where things stand. This is really bad in the short term. I think it's I don't want to say good in the long term, but I think anytime, here's how the opponents of freedom work. They would love it if they could just do things under the table and not have to kind of show their hand. Anytime they're forced to demonstrate the totalitarian like mindset that they have, and to also to show how they collude in a non-legal sense with one another, that is really, really helpful in terms of talking to the average person who doesn't care about this shit, because then it's like, wait a minute, this can't be a coincidence. People are stupid at recognizing patterns. And B, forcing people who care about these issues to be like, all right, we clearly know what the problem is. We have to build alternate patterns around it. I don't know, this is a cliche, but I have spoken to many people who, I don't usually talk politics with people because well, thank you so much, Beast. I've talked to many people who are not political. I don't talk politics in my personal life because I don't care. Like, I think someone's political preferences have as much impact on me as their sexual preferences. I don't care. The Kavanaugh stuff was really such a red pill for so many people at the nature of what's going on, how hard these people will play if they need to, and how brazen the corporate press will be to cover for them. This one's you should check out his YouTube videos. Okay, thank you, Hunter. Oh, my son says hi and wants your shirt tail soap. That shirt tail soap is not for sale. And how would your son even know what shirt tails is? It's from like the late 70s. You could get it on eBay, I'm sure. So yeah. So that was also one of the things I had. Arthur, okay, I had Marion Smith next week on You're Welcome. He's the head of the Victims of Communism, either Memorial Fund or Memorial Foundation. I always drop the last word because I don't want to get it wrong. And he talks about how in 1956, when the Soviets went into Hungary after the Hungarian Revolution, there's a great book about it called 6 Days that I haven't read yet. They sent in the tanks, and the Western world could, the hardcore lefties could. The West, hold on a second. I need to post from Canada. Our privacy laws are airtight and fair heart. That's very interesting. That is counterintuitive. Thank you. That's interesting information, Yo-Yo Bear. So, and you made me lose my... Hungarian Revolution. When the Soviets sent in the tanks, that's when the Western world was like, okay, we can't pretend anymore that if push comes to shove, these people will shove, and they will run people over. Same with Tiananmen Square. It's why the Chinese government doesn't like talking about it, why it's censored in China. It's like, these people, if you push them, they will have no qualms about killing children. So I'm not saying at all that Jack Dorsey's in favor of this, of killing children. What I'm saying is the pretense that they're interested in debate and discussion, they are to a point. But when things get dangerous and uncomfortable for them, as we're seeing literally today, it's quite obvious what they are going to do. And the brazen, and it's also the kind of like, we're going to take the check mark away. Literally, what does that mean? It means nothing. It's like, they took away Laura Loomers, they took away Farrakhan's. Okay, so I don't understand. There's not even a pretense that that this is doing anything. There's never an explanation. So, and the other thing is, as I wrote in this article about Milo for the Observer when he got kicked off Twitter, they don't. Is there anyone on Earth that you would theoretically be willing to vote for? If you're saying if there are people on Earth that I would be happy if they were in office, I don't see how me going to a booth and flicking a switch is going to matter. So I don't know if that answers your question. No, you know what? No. If there was a friend of mine who was running for office, I would do it. Sure. There's like one big game of kickball at recess and we're still picking sides. After that, we get back to business. I don't know what that means, Shalashaka. I don't understand. So yeah, they are having to show their hands, and it's good in the medium term. But yeah, this deplatforming stuff is no joke. Again, people have been calling this for months. Will Summers that's who was gunning for. I don't think Owen. That's a good question. Would you call it? So here's the super chat. Will Summers is gunning for Owen. Owen has been fast and loose talking about Jews and conspiracies. He's going to be blindsided. I don't know if you call it blindsiding. if Owen this has happened to Owen many times. He got dropped by his agents. He got kicked off of Twitter. He knows the nature of the game. And at a certain point, and this is, I'm going to use this phrase ironically, he is poking the bear. If you're on someone's radar screen and there's something brave to be said about like, oh yeah, well, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. At a certain point, it's just like, well, what do you think's going to happen? And this is my Soviet brain thinking. At a certain point, it's like, you really think this is one of the privileges of being an American. You really think nothing bad can really happen to you. And whereas with the Russian upbringing, it's like, if you fuck with someone in power, they are going to do whatever they can to fuck with you and have pride in doing so. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to, those are clearly what's going to be next. Yeah, Tom is going to be here in a couple of weeks. I only vote New York because we have none of the above. Is that true, Jim? I thought, Nevada. Yeah, Nevada has that. Yeah. I'm sorry, I misread that as NY. Yeah. So I don't know what. And here's the other thing. I'm sorry. I don't believe any of these people who I'm on good terms with that they don't care when they're kicked off. I don't believe it. I don't see how it's possible. It's just you're losing an audience. You wake up and it's gone. It's not fun. And it's not validating. And it's not, I don't care who you are or how strong your self-esteem is. I'm certainly no a slacker in that regard. If you have an organization officially telling people that you're a Nazi or not or white nationalist or close to that, that's going to fuck with your head. I've seen things about me in writing that are false, and it fucks with your head. What's the solution? Where do freedom lovers go? The solution is it's going to have to be different types of social media. I've said this many times. There's going to be, just like there are, look at what happened from OkCupid and what was the other one? I forget there's one. And then it became an eHarmony. And now there's 30 dating apps. There's very specific. The idea that we all have to be talking to each other at Twitter is a fallacy, and that's going to fall away. Gab didn't work because Gab's basically model was we're Twitter's rejects, as opposed to if Twitter was more honest and we're the left wing, or not even left wing, but we're the Overton window of talk, and then you could have the conservative, then you could have the libertarian, and you'd have whatever like that. That's where it's going to be further fragmentation. Bolsonaro. Let me get to that in a minute. Please remind me. So the one thing, I know nothing about this. Kim.com said he's working on something to work around this. I don't think, from the little I know about him, and I could be talking to my ass, the little I know about him is he gets it, and if he's talking about solutions, he's on the right track. That's my understanding. Bolsonaro I talked about a bit on my show. The stupidest thing people do, this drives me crazy, is think that right-wing and left-wing like Republicans and Democrats here are the same as Merkel, CDU, and the Social Democrats, and then you have the moderates and the Social Democrats in Sweden, and the right and the left in Brazil, and it's so dumb and so insular to port your own binaries to other countries, even the binaries in terms of gender, like the idea of what a man is in America. This is what they actually mean when they say gender socially constructed. The idea of what we think of as masculine in America and feminine in America is not going to be the same in Japan or in Africa or in Brazil. This important time. Well, thank you, Richard. That is very nice of you. That's very appreciated. Thank you. And it is very appreciated. Vis-a-vis Brazil, I'm sorry, but anyone who's so blithely talking about cops killing people and blithely talking about dictatorships, the problem with Brazil is that they have their murder rates through the roof. So if you have the guy coming on stage, I did a segment on Nightshade about this complete American dishonesty about this campaign, because there was an article that said, gays are voting for him even though like 350 gays were murdered last year. The article didn't say how many people total were murdered. And I did the math, and actually it was safer to be gay than be straight in Brazil per capita. but they did not even mention on the article at all. It was just completely shameless. You can go find it on compoundmedia.com. The point is, yeah, if your murder rate is a multiple of Mexico's, people are going to vote for the law and order candidate. And that's the natural thing to do. That said, just because he hates the right people and he's willing to do something about it does not make him a nice guy. He's far less like Trump, which is so stupid, than he's more like Duterte in the Philippines. And Glenn Greenwald, who's one of the lefties who's really gets it a lot of the time, flipped out at the New York Times saying to call him Trump of the tropics is so demented. And just go find Glenn Greenwald's tweet. He just says it perfectly. So you can, in a sense, cheer on the defeat of the left because this is going to be Venezuela, of course, is the prime example. But this is not a nice person. This is not, he's not even Orban in Hungary or Salvini in Italy. This is way different scenario, and it's a very different society. So it has to be looked at in that regard. I also would like to point out that Brazil, I think, is quite literally the most diverse country on earth. I think their heterogeneity is like off the charts. Like it's very, very mixed. And this whole demographics is destiny does not always port to reality as much as people would like, especially because they're voting in someone so far to the right that we would never even imagine something like that coming in America. So that's just my one point with Brazil. So yeah, it's my heart goes out to people in Brazil. I mean, if you have a huge murder rate, that's the only thing you have to talk about, the murder rate. The end. Everything else is you can worry about that once people stop getting fucking murdered. Because I'm sure if you got the murder rate through the charts, you're going to have the burglaries and you're going to have the armed robberies and you're going to have the rape. It's going to the murder between the war between Brazil and Venezuela is going to be super lit, though. I gotta say that. So yeah, I really hope Bolsonaro brings out the helicopters. Yeah, but the thing is, those helicopters are also going to come. It's not like the helicopters are going to be dismantled. Is the point? So yeah, it's crazy. And it's also sad to me to see all these Americans. And again, I know very little about Bolsonaro in Brazil, so I'm coming at this talking out of my ass. Let's be clear, but it's very weird. So many Americans are like, "Oh yeah, he's basically Jack Kemp." He's not, and that you're talking to someone who quotes Pinochet in his forthcoming book and has a chapter called "Get in the Chopper." So yeah, that's the thoughts on Brazil. Wow, a lot of people are up on a Tuesday night. I was going to go do leg day, but I was too wiped from doing 2 shows today. So, okay. The mods are censoring the Brazilian chat. In what chat? The mods are censoring the Brazilian flag in chat. What priorities? I don't know what chat you're referring to. Do you mean this? Yeah, this quote. So, military dictatorships leave normal people alone. Normal is the same as race. Is the opposite of racist. Normal means that which I like. Racist means that which I don't like. So yeah, these are terms that sound objective but are not. Sorry I kept you up, Hunter. Next Tuesday night, I am going to be live streaming the election results, which I'm sure are going to be completely epic, completely insane, because whoever's writing the script for this season of the politics is doing a great job. I mean, it is hilarity from beginning to end. And it's almost time for Halloween. I will be dressed up for Nightshade tomorrow. I'm going to reenact a costume I had in the past that didn't make it to air, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, and next Tuesday I'll be at Election Day, and then Wednesday at 5 a.m. I'll be in my flight to Los Angeles. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be post-election riots. It's going to be some kind of hilarity. It's going to be absolute hilarity. And yeah, so that's the situation there. I haven't talked to Gavin or any of the other than Laura. I haven't talked to Andrew or Milo about the situation. I'm surprised that Milo got asked to speak at NYU because they are kind of weird. And and I'm not surprised he got unasked. So yeah, that's the situation going on there. Um, no, I'm not have the costume from the compound party. It's gonna be a different costume. Yeah, I guess if anyone has any kind of cues, we got 400 people here. We could hang out for a little bit because I go to bed late. I didn't realize people would be up this late, so that's kind of cool. Um, and just a reminder for those of you who are just joining in, November 16th, Friday night, we're doing the Arduous March. Me, 32 bottles of liquor that you all super chatted for. 6 other guys, Jay Irwin from 4chan, Michael Wolf, strength coach. We got an immigrant, we got a ginger, we got an NPC, and Dave Smith from Part of the Problem and Gas Digital. We're going to be doing a quarter shot, seeing if we can make it through all 32 bottles of weird liquor. And if you want to quit at any point, you can just have to take a shot of Malort. We're going to be streaming this on my channel and on compoundmedia.com. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And if it goes well, we'll do it again with all the compound hosts. It's better to chopper 30 commies than to have the compound is doing an election night. Anthony's hosting it. The point is, after choppering the commies, this guy's also, and I agree with you, the murder rate's completely unacceptable. After choppering the commies, he's going to start chopping. The question is he going to be choppering other people? So, yeah. What would be worse, your book being canceled or Blue Monster being canceled? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to live in that world. So, and the thing is, but I mean, 32 bottles at a quarter shot each is 8 shots. But the thing is, the fucking alcohol by volume, the proof content varies on each one. So it's going to be really a situation. I don't know. I'm not a drinker, too. So who the hell knows what's going to happen there? Michael Wolf is 280. So that's going to be, he's going to have a big advantage on me. We got a ginger, so he's going to have, his Irish DNA. He could drink whiskey from the tap. So it's going to be, and I don't think I've ever been drunk on camera, so it's going to be kind of insane. Yeah, a lot of them are lower proof, but yeah, that's where we're going with that. I'm really, really, really stoked to do that, and the follow up will be in, if it goes well, in late January, early February. So yeah, and by the way, the guys will be running the control room, so they have the fun of trying whatever liquors they want. They don't have to go through the arduous march, but it'll be professional quality. So that is absolutely great. And if you get through all 32, you get a free trip to the hospital. No, I don't know what happens. I'm not a giggly drunk. I am a meaner drunk. So yeah, that's where I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough, especially being on camera, and I'm just gonna be fucking with people. I fuck with people when I'm sober, so I don't even know. Yeah, I've had Moxie. I got it from my ex. She was from the Bronx. I don't know why people hate on it. It seemed fine. Yeah. So, I'm God. I can't fucking wait. I could be wrong on Bolsonaro. I swear, my hope, I pray that I'm totally wrong and he's just basically like a Rudy Giuliani. My hope only is that there's less murders in Brazil and less crime. That's all, you know what I mean? Like, that's all that matters. But yeah, I joke that calling it compound rehab. So we've been hiding bottles all over the office to make sure none of the people steal it, because now they're having it there, I have to lug all the bottles from my house to the studio. So they're being hidden. Some of them are heavy, some of them are big, but it's going to be like around, and we're going to be drinking them at random. So yeah. What's the last soda I drank? Good times. No, I'm really mean, and I enjoy being mean. That's the problem. Yeah. So yeah, it's and I'm really funny about it. So yeah. If we do the no. So the people, I'll name them. It's like I said before. Jay Irwin from 4chan, 4chan Mod, Michael Wolf, Wolf Strength. You can look him up. Mott, the Ginger, Simoon, the Immigrant, and Paul the NPC. So that's where we are. I don't think Gino is an alcoholic because Gino donated his bottle of 3 penis liquor to us. So that's going to be part of the arduous march. You guys donated like 30, he 31, he donated the 32nd bottle, which is penis liquor from China. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. What are you guys like when you're drunk? Anyone? There's a little delay here, which is a little annoying. I'm also getting thanks to Warren, who's awesome. Warren suggested instead of getting a new camera for this, I should get a new light, which I'll do to make this look not as shitty. Stupid drunk, okay. Happy. My lord, crying, violent. I'm like Bolsonaro. Happy when drunk, passed out. Normal. Super serious, super fun. I time travel when drunk. I did that. Oh. How does Owen do it with like 1,000 people watching his? You can't keep track. And I'm a speed reader. Love your tweet about the media. Always makes me think. Thanks. Well, Miles, that is very nice. Thank you. And thank you for all the support from you guys. Seriously, like if I didn't have this in the Patreon, I would be biting my tongue because I'd have to be worried. And now I could be my total asshole self all the time and fucking hit people who deserve to be hit, specifically because of the audience. And I feel every day I'm thankful for this. Every fucking day. Jeff, you're not awesome. Sorry to tell you. Adderall. Yeah, Adderall. Yeah, that's a good idea. By the way, I am using all the bottles of ketchup that I bought for the ketchup tasting. They are actually being put to use, except for like Sir Kensington's, which is just tomato sauce. Your favorite president might be in this chat. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, I know, but my point is like I really am in a position to be vicious on Twitter because of you guys. It's like it's appreciated. I mean, it's like $10 is no joke. I did a thing on Italian politics yesterday on Nightshade. I cover it very extensively. Yeah, the Kensington was shit. Shit. I covered Merkel. Oh, can you lay to bed whether or not you're gay? No troll. Everyone says you're gay, but then you said you have a daughter. Why would you? Man, you just are these live streams more or less enjoyable for you compared to your Welcome or Nightshade? I like them. They're completely different in each. That's the other question. That's a good question. So, I love your Welcome, which is my interview show on Gas Digital, which is free. We upload it. Happy Halloween, everyone! Because I get to talk to cool people, and I get to be serious, and I get to learn things, and I also get to introduce my audience to people who I think should have more of attention and things like that. Like for example, I just today secured Justin Silver, who's going to be on in 2 weeks. He's a used to be a major. He had his own show, dog trainer. I love animals. I love dogs. I can't wait to pick his brain about dog psychology. It's just, I mean, and I'll know the right questions to ask. So that's really fun for me. Nightshade is awesome for me because every day I get to talk shit on what needs to be shit on, number one. But number two is I think there's a lot of stories that people don't cover that I'm pretty much the only one covering, which is like especially the European elections. Like everyone, even on the right, are very big on America and kind of a little on the UK. And I'm covering like Sweden, Italy, Germany quite extensively because I think these are kind of things that are going to happen here. So it's fascinating stuff. And the live streams I like because I get to interact with people and I get feedback from people who matter about what I'm doing, and thank you, Jellyfish, thank you so much. Then I get to kind of plan things and get a response. And I mean, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have my curved jeans that you guys paid for, which is very appreciated, and also this arduous march. I mean, the whole point was I'm like, all right, I tried all these ketchups. I'm not a drinker. Let me try liquors. If you guys want to chip in, you chipped in. And I'm like, well, now I got to put on a show. So the suggestion was do it with a drinking buddy. And I'm like, Dave Smith. Okay, we do Dave Smith. I'm like, no, let's go all out. Let's get 7 people. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it in the studio. So I try to give back for all the support because I think people deserve it. So it's very, very, very appreciated, and I like them all because they're very different aspects of my personality. Top 5 books on libertarianism/anarchy. I don't know that I could give you 5. For anarchy, I could give you Ed Stringham's Anarchy in the Law, which is right there. Also, I would recommend... what else would I recommend? That one will do it for you. Jinkos. I'm not... Oh, fuck you. Rand is also the one that people get into, and you have to read Rand in order, which is Anthem, Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged. That'll do you. How did most of your fans discover you? I don't know. That's a good question. I think it comes from very different pockets. I think a lot from Tom Woods, a lot from Rogan, from TV, the North Korea stuff. So I'm kind of a very interesting Venn diagram, if I do say so myself. So yeah, that is, I don't know if that's a good answer, but I don't have an awareness. It's very weird. It's now happened that I get stopped on the street fairly regularly, and everyone's super cool. Like I have not had an overwhelmingly positive experience. So yeah, Red Eye, yeah, that was a big one. I love that show. Tom Woods. And a lot of people know me from Twitter because that's where I do my sick burns. So I have a chapter on Jared Taylor in my forthcoming book. You picked up Dear Reader at the library? Get the fuck... I should ban you right now. I did wear my Twin Peaks outfit on Fox. Yeah, that was on the Gutfeld show. It was awesome. Why would I be in Queens, stupid? If you see me on the street, feel free to say hi. I had Tim Pool on You're Welcome already. Because everyone's very nice. Yeah, my Kickstarter, a lot of people learn from that. So yeah. I finished The Monster. Violent fallout with Ant where he broke your hand. Jordan is the funniest person on my Facebook. Hands down. When he does the pictures. The writing, not so much. I'm pretty threatening on the street. I'm 4'10". So I already tweeted about Ben and Jerry's. I dreamt your name, then Googled it. Many such cases. Many such cases. It's my favorite thing that Trump says. I should do a live stream where I'm just sitting here editing the book, just sitting here quietly. It might be creepy, like that back in the day when people used to have like cameras, webcams, and you'd watch them all the time. This was a thing in the early days of the internet. Ow, itchy. Learned about you from Tom Woods, liked you on Cash Cab. That Cash Cab was fun, and it's been a good calling card for me. Gutfeld is shorter than me. Go on my Instagram. There's a photo of us together when we met. He was kind of a role model for me, and I had wanted to meet him for a long time, and I was in the green room at Fox, and he was filming the studio, and I was scared to go in there and introduce myself, and he comes out, and he says, "Oh, Michael Malice," and I was like, "Oh my God, Greg knows who I am," and I was on his show that very week. So if there's a photo of us together, me wearing the blazer I wore yesterday on Nightshade, if I'm not mistaken. What? I don't know what this means. There's an acronym that even I don't even know. ASMR. Oh, these videos, yeah. Okay, I've heard of those. So, that you get stepped. I love voyeur cams. Yeah, the voyeur cams. Thank you. That's the term. I do not like death metal at all. I like twee pop. I'm quite the opposite of death metal. If the new song for "You're Welcome" isn't give you enough of an indication. So, one sec. Let me just check something quick. I just got followed by an Olympian. Someone has a silver medal. So that was pretty cool, I thought. Whew. Does Germany turn right after Merkel? I don't know. It depends what you mean by right. They're pretty left right now. When you have the equivalent of the Republican Party broadly, her party, the CDU-CSU, being the pro-immigrant party, right? What's happening, and I wrote an article about this for The Observer a year ago. It's all coming true. Is you have complete fragmentation. So I don't know if it's going to turn right per se. They're not going to be able to keep the AFD from having an impact. Bullshit. It's not going to happen. Same thing in Sweden right now. The Sweden Democrats have them all by the balls. So this is going to be, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be very, very, very interesting, which is a kind of a cop-out answer, but it's certainly not going the way it's going now because they've lost. I've talked about this many times on Nightshade. They've lost all their support. They can't cobble together a majority between the two biggest parties. It's completely insane. Oh, that pic with me and Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah, that was pretty fun. That was. We were both on the first episode of Tucker when he moved to his new time. Oh, who's texting me? Did a month of magnesium. Oh, this is my friend from Singapore. Yep. Do you think Glenn Greenwald was correct when he said Jair Bolsonaro was the most hateful, misogynistic politician in the Western Hemisphere? I wouldn't know. There's a lot of, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of these strong men. Thaddeus Stevens. You mean Thaddeus Russell? Thaddeus Stevens was the scourge of the South. Was a congressman from Pennsylvania, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that him? Yeah, he was a congressman. From Pennsylvania. He was one of the radical Republicans. Thad wrote one of the top 10 books that I recommend. One of the other authors was on You're Welcome Today. We'll upload it within 24 hours. Arthur Herman. Book recommended to me by Gavin McIngus. Not to me, to everyone. The Idea of Decline in Western History. Thanks for Bruno Fazzolari tip. Oh, yeah. I'm having dinner tomorrow with Freddie Bouchardi, who's that perfumer who was on my show. And he just had a line of candles for the video game. Hold on. For the video game Redemption 2. He collaborated with Red Dead Redemption 2. He just collaborated with the line for with Rockstar Games. So I'm seeing him tomorrow night. Yeah, he's a great perfumer, Bruno Fasolari. I'm very impressed with him. I can't find your article in Germany. Look up Observer Michael Malice Fragmentation. It'll be in there. You'll find it that way. I'll definitely have to go on Thad's show again or have him on my show again. To hire Jared Taylor, 1488 Jordan. Why do I need Jared Taylor to read the book when I can do my perfect Jared Taylor impression? In fact, as some of you might know, I don't think have I discussed this publicly. When I was getting worried about going to Charlottesville, I talked to Pax Dickinson, who was like one of the organizers or something. He goes, look, if the Nazis give you shit, just do your Jared Taylor impression. And yeah, so that is my Jared. That Jared Taylor impression is pretty solid from my understanding. Everyone's complimented me on it. I'm tempted to have a guest read one of the chapters, but I'm gonna have so much fun doing the audiobook. It's gonna be really, really awesome. I'm looking at the book on the floor right now. So yeah. That's right, Kumia was. Anthony was. Ant's a fun guy. He went to Jared! That's funny. That's funny. I did go to his house. I'm not a Dana Carvey fan at all. Jim Goat has a great, great speaking voice. I don't know what you're asking about Pretty Please. I don't know what that's in reference to. I don't know if Gavin would want to read the Gavin chapter. Thad and I interacted only on Twitter. I mean, we live in separate places. I'm not a Larry David guy, no. So who do you guys think who do you guys think is going to be I didn't see Jim. I know Jim was going on the Weekly Sweat. I talked to him about it beforehand. I didn't watch it at all. I don't know what mine is. I don't know who that is. CGV Gray. I don't know who these people are. The next 4 episodes. I'll tell you something about that. Who's your white whale to get on You're Welcome? Do you mean Amy Schumer? I'm not a cheese eater at all. Never grew up with it. Never developed a palate for it. I think it's gross. Don't like cheese. I don't think I've ever had cheese that I like. Maybe Doritos, but that's it. That's as close as it's gonna get. Pizza. I do like some pizza, but that's it. I don't listen to audiobooks. I don't like them. I feel like it's cheating. And I feel like I don't know what to do if I'm listening. Like if I'm reading a book, my focus is here, but listening, it's not for me. I'm not telling you what fragrances I wear because it's not gonna. Would you go on Bill Maher if you were invited? Of course. There's no cheese in here. There's only chemicals. Carbonated water, glucose, citric acid, urea, natural flavors, taurine, sodium citrate, color added, just says color added. Ginseng, caffeine, sorbic acid, sucralose, benzoic acid, L-carnitine, L-tartrate, niacinamide. Wow. I don't drive. Yeah, a lot of people tell me that they like these live streams when they're doing other stuff to have it in the background. So to all you listeners out there in Radioland, here's a great little thing about Monster Energy. It turns your pee electric. Huh, a lot of you night birds. I guess it's earlier. If you're not a fan of cologne on men because you haven't smelled good cologne. Cologne shouldn't smell like cologne. It should smell like a heightened version of the person. So, you're not you should not like cologne, like Polo Sport and all that shit. It means this person's a douche. So, ooh. Your ear. Please talk like that forever. Cool water. Good lord. Good lord. These are just some awful fragrances. Could you do an Eastern European accent a whole day? A day's a long time. I've talked to friends. I've had friends who are on Survivor, and I've thought about if I'm ever on Survivor, I should pretend I'm like this Russian and talk in this weird voice. And they said there's no way to be able to sustain it, the accent. No way. So, a day is a long time to maintain an accent, although I think I could do it. I think I could do it. God, it's almost been an hour. Whew. Michael's fitting scent is monster burps. I don't burp monster. That's not exactly accurate. I want to know from you guys who are your welcome viewers, who was your favorite episode? That's what I want to know. Never took blockchain tech seriously. Now see decentralized servers. Exactly. Perseus, you get it exactly right. Blockchain is a way to decentralize free speech. 100%. Just like with torrents. It went from Napster, and now there's Infinite. Okay, let me see. Juanita, okay. Cody Wilson. Okay. Red Steve's Camille Rucka's great. Tom's great. Jay Jordan, really? Are you friends with Jay? Scott Adams, okay. These are all over the place. Cody Wilson, Red Steve's, Miss Juanita, Ralph the Frankenstein. He's the Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster. Tom's awesome. Dave Petraza's great. Hans Hop, okay. Stossel Lewis, adore him. Oh, Franklin, yeah, that was funny. Frag, okay. Whoa. You should get John McCain on. Dad, okay. Favorite part of Machiavelli? I don't know that I have a favorite part. I mean, I think he's we talk about Machiavelli on today's episode of You're Welcome. I don't have a good answer to that question. I'm sorry. Kumi is going to be back on the day's books released on November 20th, so in 3 weeks. So that's going to be awesome. John McAfee and one of his wives. Okay, the episode with Ryan really changed your life? That's wow. Mackie, oh God, he's so funny. Mackie is so funny. No, I think the Hop episode was very popular. You weren't supposed to dislike the Jay Show, but he's not a big name, and he was early on, so I'm impressed. The old Russian lady, Kathy Young. Her name's Young. Tupac, Schlichter. Oh, Kurt's great. Exactly, Richard. Exactly. Michael Malice. Thank you, News Boost. Pat Flynn. Is that you, Fat? Pat's great. No, only the last 15 episodes are on YouTube because Gas Digital, you could have to subscribe to get more than the last 15, but 15's plenty. Matt Foley. The book episode, okay. Hotep Jesus was hilarious. Red Steve, yeah. Kurt Metzger, Kathy. Kathy was cool. Dave Smith. The I could. Glenn's not even in America. I might be at a point a year from now to get pull Glenn Greenwald. Kathy Newman. Oh, Kurt's the best. He's the best on Twitter too. That's interesting that you all like Joe Maki so much. I adore him. I absolutely adore him. I wonder what my favorite episode would be. I don't know that I can. It's on YouTube too, Bobby. If you go to Michael Mel's Hotep Jesus on YouTube. I don't have Metzger on the show. No, no. I didn't watch any of the Soho debates. I only saw a bit of the one with Gene Epstein and Nick Gillespie. I don't know who Michael Brooks is. Sorry. I don't think I can mediate that. I don't know who these people are. Oh yeah, the creepy line. That was a great episode. That was very eye-opening. Would you ever get two guys from the Cato podcast? Sure, why not? I don't know who Michael Brooks is. I'm sorry. Well, you shouldn't be mean to Jessica Tarlov. She's the bee's knees. And she's gorgeous. Interview E. Michael Jones. But I'm Jewish. Let me look up this book. E. Michael Jones, okay. You want me to be Catholic? It's not going to happen. He considers modern Judaism to be a wicked ideology. Okay, in some ways it is. Oh, I've had Aaron Berg on already. Yeah. Kevin Goodsman is great. Tarlov is also really tall, so she's got that. I've been on Owen's stream, and Owen's been on You're Welcome. She's more than a 7 because she's so leggy. Oh, Michael Tracy. Did he block me? I haven't seen him forever on Twitter. Is he banned? Did he block me? Hold on. No, I just haven't seen. Oh, wow. He hasn't tweeted since like 2 weeks. Huh. Interesting. Hey Poland, Ukraine here. Jim has an open invitation to be on You're Welcome next time he's in New York. Yeah, that Julia girl's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. Um Oh, no, Tracy has not banned me, blocked me. I looked. He just hasn't tweeted. I did not enjoy Prague. I enjoyed my trip, but not Prague as itself. You know, it's really funny. Someone was tweeting, some dimwit was tweeting at me on Twitter, and I had to mute them because I had Juanita Broderick on, who was a Clinton rape accuser, and she goes, "Why don't you have Kavanaugh's accusers on?" And I'm like, "You really think if Christine Ford called me up or Julie Swetnick, I'd be like, nah, we're good? Are you fucking stupid?" Yeah, well, the answer is yes. So it's whoa. It was really it's just what I love about Twitter is just how seeing the stupidity made articulate. So yeah, it's really eye opening. Yeah, like someone just today, this was a big one, was like I was talking about Max Boots, like you should have tagged him. I'm like, why are you telling me how to use Twitter? He's like, well, why do you? I don't understand why you didn't. Yeah, I don't care. Okay, so I owe you an explanation. Fuck, how are you in a position to? Obviously, I'm using Twitter better than you. Brian McClanahan is superb, but he's not in New York, and I would not want to do. I try to do the Skype stuff as minimum as possible, and it's got to be for someone who's like kind of a big name. I also reached out to these guys who they haven't checked their email yet, who make whiskey out of beer. So that's I really like people do interesting things. I really like. I always look out for that for potential guests. Again, to like I'm a hipster, so I like things that no one's heard of, and that people who are being innovative with their craft. Medeker would be a good interview. Is he in New York? I know a lot of people have mentioned him before. I have reached out to Ethan Van Sciver and the guy behind Diversity in Comics, and it looks like I couldn't make it happen so far. But everyone suggested that, so I did do my best. I'm not libertarianism. I'm not a libertarian. I'm an anarchist, and there's no possibility that I'm going to be a Catholic. I'm sorry. Neon Taster is a superb follow, and you should follow people who you disagree with. Dankula, I would love to get. So the beer whiskey, they make it in Brooklyn, obviously. Uh, Arcane Brewing is the company, so tweet at them to check their Facebook messages, please. Naomi Wolf, I would love to get her on. She's on my list. I don't know what EVS is. Peter Bogosian. No kvass. Oh, for the arduous march. Oh, that's funny. That's not a bad idea. What kind of proof does kvass have in terms of alcohol content? For those who don't know, kvass is Russian bread soda. I don't think it's really alcoholic though. Yeah, it's not really. It's fermented, but it's very low. Yeah. Okay. Someone contributed for the Applejack, so that's going to be part of the arduous march. Isn't Walter Williams mad old? I would love to get him too. Oh, Ethan Van Sciver. Okay, sorry. You should invite a random person off the street to do a show. Not. I got the Malort the same way I got the other things that people contributed. So I thanked him on my show. Let me just double check that I don't get his name wrong, because I'm 99% sure that it is Mark, but I want to be 100% sure. Yeah, it is Mark. He sent it from. We did an unpacking episode of Nightshade. He sent it from Chicago, and he also sent a bottle of liquor made from honey, which is going to be part of it. So it's going to be really, really fun. And he sent me some free soda, so it's really appreciated. Like, you guys made this possible. This I've asked Ann Coulter many times to be on the show. She has not replied. So yeah, this arduous march is I hope I don't throw up. Gilbert Gottfried. I know his. I met his wife Dara at a party once. Favorite band you found early that got popular? No doubt. In fact, I wrote to them and they wrote back me a letter that says, per my request, to Michael, stop calling us Blondie. That's an easy one. Kristen is lovely. That's absolutely true. She's a lovely person, inside and outdoors. How do I send you bourbon from Kentucky? Is it going to be weird? I don't want just regular. I want something weird. I like the weird stuff. Fiery, I think you're right. Some of the liquors will taste better coming up. 100%. 100%. Favorite film that no one knows about is Jesus' Son. That's an easy one. And The Vals. VALS. Not Valley Girl. I only watched it once, though, but it's 80s as fuck. It's an 80s B movie. Please like the Pope. Isn't this Pope like a communist? Oof, that Megyn Kelly's a burn. That's a burn. The Arduous March is November 16th, Friday night. Oh, well, send it to care of Compound. I would love that. That's so nice of you. What? I don't know what Up the Academy is. I'm not a drinker, so things that are high proof are not going to be friends with me. Jews killed Christ and rebelled against Logos personified. Are Jews more influential in socially destructive pursuits like porn or communism or hipsterism? Yes, I talk about that in my book. That Jews. That's what I talked about extensively with Jared Taylor, and that's Thad's Russell's model. That it's the people who are on the fringe who innovate culture. So socially destructive means the same thing as racist. It means that which I don't like. So thoughts on Foucault. Camille Paglia is my hero. So I'll just defer to her on this one. Whew. This Kool-Aid's delicious. The rum I used to drink in college was Parrot Bay. Do they still make that? It was so sweet in retrospect, but you thought you were cool when you got it because you were an idiot. Do they still make that shit? They still make it. They changed the label though. Yep. Oh, they have different kinds now? Yeah, I used to drink that shit. We had a night when we drank Mad Dog. Yeah. A lot of. Oh, yeah. This is bringing back memories. I do not, do not uh like King of the Hill. I just don't get it. Not for me. And I don't like the animation style either. There's actually a company called Four Pillars Gin that I want to get because they have a gin. This will be for the second Arduous March. They have a gin. Hold on, let me get this exactly right. Yeah, they have a gin that's made in a Shiraz barrel. It's aged in a Shiraz barrel. Oh no, they mix the gin with Shiraz grapes. So it's this kind of, it's called Bloody Shiraz Gin. I'm gonna get that for the second Arduous March. The definition of justice. I don't. I think justice is one of those words that it's overrated. For example, if you're having a fight with someone, maybe there's a just answer, but then if you each compromise, is it really that big of a deal? If you're gonna have this justice world, for example, if a murderer isn't killed but he's exiled for life in an island, that's not, maybe that's unjust, but it might be fine, saving money. So, yeah. Oh, James O'Keefe, I can get him on. I can surely get him on. Let me add him to the list. That's not a bad idea. Um, I'm sure Laura can introduce us. I'm sure I could get Faith too, but I'd have to wait for her to be in New York. And I'm always, wait, no, that's the wrong file. Uh, hold on a second. Let me add him to the list. That's a great idea. Where was the file though? Here it is. Oh, and I reached out to Lucian Graves and he didn't reply. Huh. Okay. Thank you for that suggestion. It's not a bad one. If I send you a weird homemade jelly, would you taste it during your event? No. Homemade stuff, not doing it. It's got to be weird brands. I'll get Nick Cersei on. We follow each other on. But then I'd have to watch his movie and he's all pro-life. And, I don't know. Oh God, me interview Bobo. I don't know what his story is. I still don't know. He was at the party on. He's a very nice guy. His mom was there too. So I am gonna be dressed up for Halloween on Nightshade tomorrow. It's gonna be a great, great, great costume. Who's this? I don't know who the Z-Man is. One second. Let me just check something quick. I'm not a jelly eater. I'm not a big jelly eater. It's just sugar and fruit. It's not for me. This is for, I mean, weird liquor. This is our, I see you writing the first person a lot of time. Do you find it easier? No, I find it harder. Because you don't want to sound, it's tougher because you don't want to sound pompous. It's, yeah. Oh God, I would interview Jason Genova. Holy shit, that would be funny. Oh, that would be so funny. Ketchup is vinegar and fruit. The second ingredient in ketchup is vinegar. I had 2 scoops of pink bubblegum ice cream today. Rich Piana, yeah. R.I.P. in peace. Ketchup is amazing. So for those of you who haven't seen my ketchup live stream, it's there where I try 8 types of Heinz. Oh, the Z-Man Zimmerman, duh. What am I playing with over here? Okay. Fuck, it's late. Ketchup is the platonic ideal of food. Dave Smith is going to be on the Arduous March. Michelle Fields, good lord. Don't send me jelly, please. Please. I hate mayo. I hate mayo. Hate it. Who's Bailey Juice this? So I want to know from you guys who you think the next person who's going to be deplatformed is. Owen? Cernovich, yeah. Ben Shapiro. Molyneux, okay. Molly. Paul Joseph Watson, okay. Faith. Stefan. Coulter. Ooh. I don't know if they'd go for her. Molyneux, Anna Navarro. Not a Jew. Sargon, Gavin, Molly, Owen, Cernovich. Yeah, Cernovich, I'm sure is worried. I've talked to him about that. He's been on. Yeah, Gavin's. I haven't talked to him about this, but he's really got to be feeling the heat now. Brian Stelter, Candace Owens. Yeah, Coulter's too big, and she still has conservative bona fides. And Trump follows Coulter, so when she retweets me, that means that he sees it. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, who's the Stelter, Jacob Wall. It's Lawrence Southern you're thinking of. Trump doesn't follow me. Don't be stupid. Coulter's been around for a long time. The favorite website I own is cadburycreameggs.com. James Woods, okay. Trump is keeping his follows to 45 because he's the 45th president. It's really kind of silly. Yeah, Paul. If they got Alex, I think Paul's is a no-brainer to go for next. Oh God, if they went after Rogan, that's crazy. Yeah, that Julia chick is super hot. I Rams Paul, Pat Sajak. Joe was shadow banned? Fuck. Fuck, that's amazing. Mark Dice, okay. I don't think Rogan was ever part of the intellectual dark web because he's not an ideologue. He's not the same as the others in that group. Oh, Kyle, okay. Huh. Interesting. Rogan's not an ideologue. That's ridiculous. Who's Varg? I don't even know who that is. Rogan is pretty much the modern day Socrates. There's something to that. I don't think that's that crazy. I don't know who that is. Kanye. Oh. That's funny, Jordan. All right. Do you guys still want me to do this? Or should I call it a night? Oh, I love Nathan Fielder. He canceled the show. He's not doing any more episodes of it. Nathan for You. It's a superb show. All right. Never stop. Oh. You're slurring a bit. I'm not gonna go to bed for another hour. Um, I had a little bit of the bubblegum vodka today, just like a quarter of a shot. I'm not gonna see the Queen movie. I bet you I'd get along with Julia pretty well. I bet you I would. Thoughts on the caravan and Trump's executive order today? He was clearly fucking with people. I tweeted about this morning. Um, if he was going to do it, he just would have done it. He wouldn't have announced it. And now he's just getting the press to talk about immigrants in time for the midterms. It was very, very obvious. Oh, his Val's on YouTube. Very cool. It's so 80s. Oh, I talk about Breitbart a lot in my forthcoming book. I think my understanding is that Ben Shapiro ghost wrote that book. Actually, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say something. Okay, I think it looks horribly bad. It is horrible. It's Charlie Nash. We're buddies. I'm having Alan Bakari on. I think it's going to air the 27th. We're taping Friday. Charlie is amazingly funny. I interviewed him for the new Right. He's in there. I've not watched the Romanovs. No interest. No, I wasn't going to shit talk Nigel. It was something else. Alan's great. I didn't know Dave Lando. I have not watched the movie, no. All right. I am going to call it a night. It's been an hour. First nude scene with some guy's ass in Planet of the Apes. Great stuff. All right. I am. Oh, God, Brady Stenellis. I would love to be on his show. Tweet at him. I would love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Um, he's. Yeah, that would be awesome. Rogan is not William Buckley. Ugh, good lord. Um, all right, I will talk to you guys soon. And I'll definitely, I don't know if I'll do a stream between now and election night a week from today, but I will definitely be on election night and we could all have a stupid friend simulator party. And thanks for all the support. I mean, it is really appreciated, and hopefully you're getting something back out of the experience. So I will talk to you all soon.